What is up, guys? We're going to talk about the stereotypical metalhead versus a non-stereotypical metalhead. And what I mean by that is, there's a few people out there that will only listen to a certain type of metal, like deathcore, shit with crazy breakdowns, stuff that's so heavy it's not even funny. Then you go, oh, okay, so you don't listen to anything that's not considered mainstream. And they go, absolutely not. So if you say you listen to Disturbed or somebody like Limp Bizkit, they can't fathom that that's even metal. They'll go, it sucks. And then you go, well, excuse me, sir, why do they suck? And they just go, well, they suck ass. They're not real metal because they play hip hop and Fred Durst sucks. And then you go, okay, so you like Rage Against the Machine. And they'll probably say more often than not, yes, they do. And you go, it's the same kind of thing, rap rock. Then you go, okay, you like Anthrax, right? They have a song called Bring the Noise with Public Enemy, which is Chuck D and Flavor Flav. Flavor Flav. And that is a rap rock song. Because if I'm not mistaken, metal music is the only genre of music that people will hate on somebody else for liking a certain band. You don't hear it in the rap community. Oh, Tupac wasn't street enough. Eminem isn't hardcore enough. 50 Cent ain't thug enough. You don't hear that. You always hear in the metal genre that somebody's not metal enough. Someone's not aggressive enough. Someone's not playing the most technical stuff. Because I understand there's technical riffs out there from people like Cannibal Corpse. You have Deicide. You have bands like that are extreme. Whitechapel. You have Suicide Silence. These bands are very technical, very fast, very heavy, very aggressive. But then you have, on the other hand, you have bands like Ginger, Lamb of God, Killswitch Engage, Sevendust, Godsmack. They're still heavy music, but they're not going to be so heavy that it's just too brutal. And that's what Ozzy said once in an interview. He says, people should just listen to it because it's heavy music. It's heavy rock and roll. And that's what it is. But in this genre of metal, people are always like, well, I listen to just thrash metal because it's fast and heavy. I can't listen to new metal because it sucks. Why? You can't listen to Slipknot or Papa Roach, Sevendust, or bands like that? I understand you might not like it, but it's still a big part of music. And that's why a lot of people right now are having a hard time with a reunion or a tribute or a celebration of Dimebag Darrell. They're saying, well, it should never happen. And I look at it like this and go, why shouldn't it happen? It's celebrating Dimebag Darrell's legacy. It's celebrating him and his brother's music. But also, you have Rex Brown is a big influence in that band. He wrote a lot of the riffs too. And a lot of people go, yeah, but no, because if you look at it, Slayer's last their farewell tour wasn't a full lineup of Slayer. You have right now Lamb of God basically touring as not Lamb of God because they don't have Chris Adler, the original member, on drums. So it's technically not the original band. Then you have Killswitch Engage back in the day with Howard Jones. That wasn't the original band either because the original band had Jussie as a vocalist. So a lot of these bands that you go and see, you're saying like Kiss, they're not the original lineup either. You look at a lot of these artists that you're supporting, like, oh, I'm going to go see Queen. It's not Queen because it doesn't have Freddie Mercury. It has Adam Lambert. But for some reason, people are just like, Dimebag Darrell, and his brother Vinnie Paul were the key members of that group. I get it. They're one of the baddest groups of all time. They are two of the tightest musicians to come together as brothers to play the heaviest music we've ever heard. From Domination, Walk, Becoming, and 5 Minutes Alone. But again, you gotta allow the music to be celebrated. If you can still call Queen or Slayer, then you should still say it's a celebration, and that's even what Zakk Wylde saying, it's a celebration of my brother's music, his best friend's music. He's honor to be able to play this music for a lot of people. So again, a lot of metalheads are against it and a lot of metalheads are for it. I think it's a good thing because it's bringing a lot of young people who've never heard Pantera to be able to go see them. I've never got to see them in my lifetime because I was too young at the time. I only heard of Pantera in the year 2000 at age 15 when I was going into high school. I never heard anything like that in my life. But now that I know who they are, I would love to go see them and support that thing and be able to mosh and crowd surf and do all the stuff that band was known for. I think Rex Brown is going to bring that bass, doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo, and you're going to have Phil, walk, what do you say, doo-doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo, and he's going to bring his energy level just like he has before. Yes, we know what happened in the past with that band, but again, it's a celebration. We'll only listen to stuff that is underground and is not mainstream, and I go, why? Why don't you listen to certain bands? Like, they can't fathom listening to maybe a 3 Days Grace or even a Slipknot or a Mudvayne. They can't because they'll say that's too mainstream. So they'll listen to like Deicide, Suffocation, Mortification, these bands that are not getting no airplay, nothing, and they just are known by hardcore fans. But again, metal is the only genre of music where people hate on another genre for whatever their So according to Google, Limp Bizkit formed in 1995 in Jacksonville, Florida, and has sold an estimated 40 million albums worldwide. And we're going to look at that compared to a band like Slayer, which a lot of people consider one of the biggest bands. And Slayer has only sold 20 million. And then you go to bands like Five Finger Death Punch, because they're still a large group, and they've sold over 2 million albums. But again, it doesn't matter if they sold 1 million albums or they've sold 500,000 albums. It's just the fact that a lot of people, because they're so mainstream, don't like it. Just like it says, Lamb of God has sold almost 2 million albums since 2020, and that's when they were last calculated their stuff. So a lot of bands, if I type in like Metallica, Disturbed, and other bands, they're going to be showing a hell of a lot more. Like Metallica, for an example, they're going to sell way more albums than any other band that is named, because they sold over 125 million albums worldwide. But it just comes down to what you like and what you don't like. But just listening to heavy ass breakdowns doesn't mean that is the only metal they're out there, because it's brutal and it's brutality. And bands like Korn, who has sold over 40 million albums, isn't metal. Why do you guys hate Limp Bizkit so much? They have talented musicians. They sell out some of the biggest festivals in the world. They play some of the biggest shows around the world. And they've sold over to like 40 million records worldwide because people love what they have done. They have break stuff. That's one of the heaviest riffs, and it gets the crowds going the craziest. But again, people are going to say, because it's so mainstream, I can't listen to it. I don't give a damn if you had Cannibal Corpse on the radio or you have Metallica on the radio. At the end of the day, however you get your music is how you get your music. You get it from Spotify, YouTube, whatever. All those platforms now are so mainstream, it's not even funny. So you saying, well, I don't listen to bands that are on the radio, but you listen to bands that are on Spotify, you listen to bands that are on YouTube. Those are mainstream platforms to get music out there now. So it's the same thing as old school radio, but the only difference is you're typing it into your computer or your phone to listen to these artists. But again, I'm your boy Trevor, back with another video.